You're dealing at a time where real leadership, which represents truth, not opinion. You're leading in a society which is conditioned by the tradition of the Olympian Zeus. You've got to leave the people in their own pristine condition. Let them do what they want to do. Don't try to educate them. Don't try to change them. Don't give them the secrets of change. Keep them as they are and use them as they are. And when they're used up, use them up. Let them die. Withdraw medical care. Do all these kinds of things. You know how to manage this thing, don't you? Don't you know how to manage destruction of excessive population? Disease will help you. Foster disease. Destroy their diet. Destroy their food supply. Make them globalize food supply so that nobody produces food in the nation where they consume it. They all produce food for other nations. Each produces food for different nations, not their own. Then they get their food from other nations. And then the British Empire is the middleman. And the British Empire, being the middleman, now controls who eats and who doesn't eat. And at what price? You want globalization? You fucking idiot. You want globalization? What kind of a moron are you? You want globalization.
Currently, the lever of control over the world's food supply is the money, the financing. If you want to grow food, you have to get a loan, which is becoming impossible because all of the available money and newly invented monies are being poured into this dying financial system. For example, last December, Jacques Diouf, head of the Food and Agricultural Organization, set out to raise 10.9 million euros, about $14 million, to get seed for poor farmers. Millions of dollars, not billions, not trillions. He was unable to raise the millions of dollars for this seed. Then, this past July, we had a food crisis summit in Rome, where over $12 billion was pledged in aid and investment for farming. Only $1 billion has been dispersed, while all of the countries complained, "We're broke. We don't have the money. There's a credit crunch going on." All of the money is tied up in saving the banking system, so taking care of the world's food supply has taken a back seat to feeding the financial system. We've taken food off the table. The claim is that there's a credit crisis, that there just isn't any money available. In Brazil, Cargill and ADM have cut off financing to the farmers, where they usually cover half of the expenses of planting to be paid back at harvest time. In Pakistan, the commercial banks are withholding credit, and so farmers are in a position where they have to lower the selling price just to move the produce and plant less food for the coming season. Some farmers are threatening to burn their crop rather than sell so low. At the same time, the food that has been harvested isn't being shipped, as the banks are withholding letters of credit for shipping worldwide. This is causing a pileup of grains in storage, which, if it continues too long, could lead to a whole lot of rotten grains. There's a certain irony here. In Africa, grains will be left to rot in the silos because of lack of basic transportation to get the produce to market. Here in the Western world, where we do have some infrastructure left, we could face the same consequences, but out of just plain stupidity or inability to act. And this is all caused, so they say, by the credit crisis. Now, international finance claims there is a solution to the credit crisis, pumping lots of money into the markets. The theory is that in a free market economy, a happy equilibrium will be reached, where the money will find its proper value and find its proper home, and everything will work out just fine because of the invisible hand. The magic of the markets will ensure that everyone will be taken care of, right? Of course, what we've seen is that the banks have been swallowing up all the money they can get their hands on and holding on to it for dear life. All of the money printing, the trillions of dollars of electronic money being unleashed into the markets has accomplished worse than nothing. What's really going on is that the world is dominated by the British system of international central banking, where no sovereign nations have control of their currency. This international monetary system is, in turn, managed by the offshore financial houses, or actually financial post office boxes primarily in the British-controlled Cayman Islands and Dutch Antilles. These financial middlemen are the ones demanding